I mean, the water itself is just unbelievable. Very lucky to live in this place. Do you know what luck means?
What?
Luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. I was prepared to leave where I was to come here, and the opportunity presented itself.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, great. A little puffed. Well, the session went well. You know, pumped out some stairs, did some cardiovascular today, which is good. You know, it's not always about pumping the guns in the gym. Too much muscle, not enough speed, so you got to work on both. Did have a mini crowd, so you know, I thought I'd better put on a bit of a show. But you always perform well again under pressure. Emily was there too. I had to impress. Still have to impress her. You know, still got to show her that I got it. We've generated, it'd be close to over 50,000 leads now from that organically. It's crazy. But it's because of all the other processes that we're doing, like what we're offering, how we're getting people in there, how they're going through. You know, it's not just one post, it's the compilation of all the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
We're getting hundreds of comments a day. Out of that, you know, they're not all turning into leads because they've then got to go to the page to convert. But you know, there's a good 40-50% of them converting. One post can transform your entire page, you know.
Well,
You're just one post away. Just one post away, and it's true.
That's what happened with I Love Food.
Yeah, well,
just like
over 40 million, like 40 million hits.
Views, 40 million views
But it's not, the thing there, and I want to preface that, it's not just one post.
Yeah.
One post can give you the kick, but if you ain't got it, you know, the rest to back it up, then that was a shitbreader for that one. I think we should put an X up there. We need a bounce. You know, it's true. It's the compilation of everything. You know, getting as many ducks aligned as we possibly can with it. And that's why people who copy what we do they don't get the results because they don't know what is behind the scenes of it. They don't know what the follow-up is. They don't know what the sequence is. They don't know what the messaging is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always see one person's post and go, okay, cool, I'm going to copy that. And here's something that I think is important. If you can't be consistent, and I'll put my hand up at the best of times because we've got 6 podcasts, right, that we've done. Some of them we set on on a termed type cycle where we're doing a certain amount of episodes and for a specific purpose. But there's times that, like, you know, we've got a professional podcast right now that it's still getting over 100 brand new downloads every week, and we haven't done an episode in like close to probably 18 months, 2 years on it. Now that's silly because I look at that and go, well, technically that's an asset there. If we were creating brand new content consistently for it, which now we can look to take some of this content that we're doing here and then actually still filter them on the platforms, you know, and start getting some traction in there. But ultimately, it come back to me, you know, I had to hire you for a year. In my mind, no, I had to.
Yeah.
In order for me to you know, what you're just saying there, being consistent.
Yeah.
Anyone can start a video, right? We put out a video yesterday, our first one, and you know, we've had several thousand views already. It's growing, it's gonna keep growing. But anyone can do one of those videos, right? Anyone can do them. But for us to do that on a daily basis, it's upping you to the next level. It's upping me to the next level. You know, we're putting in time, effort, energy behind the scenes that people have no idea about. But it's that's going to grow the muscle for us to be able to launch. Our YouTube channel we started on, we've got 100 subscribers, right? Which is great for everyone watching because it's like, well, oh, but you started on 20,000 and now you're getting 20,000 views per video. No, it's definitely not. So we're starting from ground zero. So, you know, if we can't make this work, then geez, you know, I might just give up this industry. There's no way I could do this by myself, how I used to do it with a camera up, set the lights up, do this. There's half a day gone. And then I've got to edit it. Now, I can edit a good video, as you can see in my other one that we did.
Fitness boot camps has taken over the Gold Coast.
You know, but I mean, look, I can edit a video so it's good,
Yeah.
but I can't do it so it's great because
But you know,
I'm using iMovie, let's be honest. I mean, I'm not even using the right bloody tools. It's like trying to go cut down a tree with a bloody, you know, a ratchet or a hatchet. There we go. But it's true, you're not using the right tool. What I'm most excited about is in a month when we've got 30 or, you know, 25 of these daily vlogs up, people getting an insight here that we're sitting at the beach, you know, like this is the sort of shit that creates connection on levels that you can't even explain through a sales letter. right, or a sales video, because this is the real shit. Right? This is legit. And if I look back and I go, well, a weakness that I have is it's not coming up with an idea and creating a piece of content. Because like I said, I've started 6 podcasts, different YouTube shows, this and that, dozens of fan pages, you name it. That's not the hard part. The hard part is the regular consistency in doing it. Maybe you put some time, effort and energy into a piece of content and it doesn't get the result that you actually really hope, like you don't hit the 50,000 views or you don't get a 10,000 downloads on your podcast and you're like, well. And that's where we need to keep bringing it back to going, well, even if you get 1,000 views, there's 1,000 people have had their eyes on that. Imagine 1,000 people right here. That's a lot of people. And, I've always got to keep bringing that back to reality as well, because with social media, people are starting to be programmed that if you're not getting thousands of views, then it's not good enough. And that can be something that stops someone dead in their tracks. But now I know, for at the minimal for the next 12 months, we're pumping out content every single day. And that has to, by the law of the content gods, that has to have a positive effect. So just discussed with our events manager, the process around setting up our next events, locking in the locations, doing all the groundwork first so we can actually start marketing it. So the discussion was just around figuring out locations, venues, all the things we need to do pre-marketing the event. So the good thing is, like I mentioned earlier, was we've already got the funnels. We already know what ads we're doing, so it's a lot easier the second time around. Just like when you're doing anything, I guess, any new product, any new service, it always takes longer at the start because you can't really duplicate anything. But once you've duplicated it, it just becomes a lot easier. So I look at this and I go, what's the easiest methodology that requires the least amount of setup from your behalf? Yes. Which I look at that and I go, I would set up you need one funnel that's going to get people to the 3-day in the evening. I would have the same funnel, but I would just make a note that for wherever the evening event is, I'd say, this event is only from this time to this time. So you've created a whole new funnel for each event. What that does is that obviously creates a lot more work, because what you could have done was you could have just had on the opt-in page where sort of like a button that leads to a different opt-in page. If you do 4 different funnels, you're going to have 4 different lots of pixels, right? Building 4 different types of audiences. Now, again, that's not to say it's a bad thing. You could do that, but it comes down to, it's obviously a lot more work, a lot more time, effort, energy. Because now what essentially is going to happen is, if you're talking to someone on Facebook Lives, now it's okay with Facebook ads, right? But if you're talking about Facebook Lives, you're now all of a sudden, and any other organic method, letting the others know, tell their team, go here, go there. You've got 4 different URLs now where people could potentially end up. So to keep it clean, like for example, we're about to run our online mastery events again. We're going to do 2 locations in Melbourne, Adelaide, and then Gold Coast. We've got 1 page, but what we do is they select the location they would like to attend, and all that does is that triggers off a different email. Oh, didn't see you there. So we just wrapped up a coaching call with one of our Inner Circle coaching clients, and today's conversation was really about what's the best foundation, what's the best technical setup to, because he's running 4 different events in different areas, and then he's got another 2-day event, etc. And it was just more laying out what's going to be the most user-friendly experience for the end user. He originally had 4 different websites set up for each event, etc., where we can really consolidate that and make it easier for him, for starters, for actually executing on it, but then also easier for the user as well, so data doesn't get thrown all over the place. So there's so many things that, being on this other side of the fence now, but also still being able to recognize and understand what's like on the other side of the fence, is even setting up a sales funnel can be extremely excruciating for someone who has never done it before, right? So yes, you can go, I want to run an event, or I want a product, I want to put we've got another service. Then all of a sudden you're like, well, how do I actually get all that content? How do I get the information? What do I even say on the pages? You know, because a lot of the entrepreneurs just have this end product in mind, and they can't reverse engineer all the steps that it takes to end up getting to that. You know, it's the whole, what does someone need to know, think and feel in order for them to put their hand up to go to the next step? And when you're running, you know, Facebook ads or social content to a particular offer, there's a many micro steps in the process that need to be ironed out. So it just keeps reiterating to me actually the complexity of this stuff. You know, it's not as easy. If you ever see someone out there going, oh, learn how to make 100 grand from one webinar in 3 easy steps, you know, yeah, you can go, well, send a Facebook ad to a webinar, present the webinar, and then sell the product. But I mean, look at that for an example. You've got a product. Firstly, you've got to create the product. Is the product created in such a way that it's going to elicit someone to want to buy it? You know, so even the packaging and positioning of your product, the packaging of the actual deliverables in it is huge within itself, right? Then you've got to reverse engineer that and go, well, I've got to run a webinar. What do I need to say on the webinar? You know, what does someone need to know, think and feel in order for them to go, yes, I want this product or service? Then you go, how do I then get someone even interested to come to my webinar? Right? And it's not as easy as just one image, put a nice tag headline, even though on the surface it comes across like that. But there's so many years from my experience of understanding compelling words, compelling copy, compelling language, you know, that can get someone to want to take the next step. So just reiterates that this game it's not easy. It's not an easy game. And anyone who's out there telling you that this shit's easy, it's not easy. I mean, I've been in this game for years and I'm still butting my head against the wall sometimes, you know, trying to figure this stuff out. So just know that it's not easy, but it is very rewarding.
Large, just sent you a link to a video, basically snapshot of the event from the other day, and just looking at the style of the video with the captions and stuff. Just want to get your feedback on it quickly, because I'm just looking at the style of the videos and seeing if we can get more engagement with them. So let me know your thoughts, man.
Large, just watched your video. A couple of things that pop up for me straight away. Number one is, I know your brand's red, but the red text, I think it's a bit too much, having it all red. What I would do is I'd have the subtitles actually in black. You can keep the why do we eat food in red. I think that keeps it impactful. The second point is remove all the ums, the ahs, the you know, like. Watch it without the volume and read the captions. And if you get confused along the way, then there's, you know, you need to remove that bit out of there. So there was a couple of points in there where she used the word okay, you know, like, you know. So remove those parts and it'll become more punchier. Whew. Sorry? Sneakers, yeah, fuck. That's what happens when you don't bring your thongs. Let's not get that in there. I was talking about this morning about the process of, you know, you build the systems as you go, as you move forward. You know, we finalise the structure of how that looks, and actually we executed upon that strategy for the first time in its entirety, which is great. So we've got a nice little system there now that basically anyone could literally walk in the door. We could give them the 2-minute overview of what needs to happen, this is where, etc., and it's all good to go. So that's what you want to create in your business. You want to create systems that can take you out of it, so you're not having to be the person always doing it. And at the start of business, you know, I struggle with that. I had everything in my head, you know, so when someone asks me something, how do you do this? I'm like, oh, I'll just do it, right? And that's not the way to leverage. So from my perspective, like with our Authority Academy, our trainings, you know, part of our movement is to create products that encourage adoption, which means we want to create products that people can actually go through and use, you know, and same applies for us. Like any system we create in the business is essentially we're creating a product, right? It is a product that someone could now take that 1-page document that we've created that outlines our entire social structuring and so forth, and go and utilize it in their own business. So if we can't create a system, and I can't explain or create a system, you know, that helps anyone in the team execute upon a strategy, then we need to go back to the drawing board and recreate it ourselves. So.